Hi, every day you come across many changes in your surroundings. These changes may involve one or more substances. For example, your mother may ask you to dissolve sugar in water to make a cold drink. Making a sugar solution is a change. Similarly, setting curd from milk is a change. Sometimes milk becomes sour. Souring milk is a change. The stretched rubber band is also represent a change. So, in this chapter, we shall perform some activities and study the nature of these changes. Broadly, these changes are of two kinds: physical and chemical change. Here, we are going to do many activities. You can also try at home. First of all, take a piece of paper, cut it into 4 square pieces. Cut each square piece further into 4 square pieces. Lay these pieces on the floor or table so that the pieces acquire the shape of the original piece of paper. On cutting the paper, its size decreases, but the piece of paper and original paper have the same material that the paper had already. So, the cutting of paper into pieces is a physical change. Now, you take some ice in a glass tumbler. Keep it in the sun. Observe after some time. Some portion of the ice gets melted and water is formed. Now put the mixture of ice and water of the glass tumbler in the refrigerator. Observe after some time. So what you will get back, children? So you get back the ice again. So here the state of change of matter happened. So the ice was the solid state, it changes into water, that is the liquid state. Now once you put it in the freezer, again the liquid state changes into the solid state. So we can say this also a physical change. Now you can boil some water in a container. See the steam rising from the surface of the water. Hold an inverted pan by its handle over the steam above from the boiling water. Observe the inner surface of the pan. You can see the water droplets. So here again the change of state of matter happens. So this is also a physical change. So from all these changes we come to know that in some changes the properties such as shape, size, color and state of the substance are changed. So these properties like shape, size, color are called physical properties. So a change in which a substance undergoes a change in its physical properties is called physical change. So the physical change is always reversible. In such a change, no new substance is formed. So we can say, what are the properties of physical change? Physical change, only the physical properties are changed. No new substances are formed. They are reversible changes. Now the next one is the chemical change. So chemical change, a well-known and familiar example is rusting of iron. A change in which you are quite familiar is if you leave a piece of iron in the open for some time, it acquires a film of brownish substance. This substance is called rust and the process is called rusting. So iron gates of the parks or farmlands, iron benches kept in lawns and gardens, almost every article of iron kept in the open gets rusted. At home, you must have seen shovels and spades getting rusted when exposed to the atmosphere for some time. In the kitchen, a wet iron pan, otherwise tawa, often gets rusted if left in that state for some time. So the rust is not iron. It is the different from iron on which it gets deposited. So what happens during the rusting? So when it is rusted, it reacts with oxygen and moisture and the new substance is formed. So in this change, a new substance is formed. Okay, then we can discuss this one little later. First of all, we'll take another example, the burning of magnesium ribbon. So when a magnesium ribbon is burnt, it burns with a brilliant white light. When it is completely burnt, it leaves behind a powdery ash. So the change, it can be expressed in the equation. So first we are taking a piece of magnesium ribbon, cleans its tip with sandpaper, bring it near the candle flame and it burns with bright white light and it leaves a white powdery ash named magnesium oxide. So the chemical equation is Mg plus O2, that means magnesium when reacts with oxygen and magnesium oxide is formed. So this magnesium oxide is a powdery ash. Now another example, take a teaspoonful of copper sulfate. That copper sulfate is blue color, about half a cup of water in a glass tumbler or a beaker. Add a few drops of dilute sulfuric acid to the solution. You will get a blue colored solution. Save a sample of the solution in a test tube or a small glass bottle. Drop a nail or a blade into the remaining solution. Wait for half an hour or so. Observe the color of the solution. Compare it with the color of the sample solution saved separately. Do you see any change in the color of the solution? Take out the nail or the blade. Has it changed in any way? The changes that you notice are due to the reaction between copper sulfate and iron. The change color of the solution becomes blue to green due to the formation of iron sulfate. This iron sulfate is a new substance. The brown deposit on the iron nail is copper. So it is another new substance. So we can write this as the chemical reaction as copper sulfate. When it reacts with iron, we get iron sulfate and copper. So the copper sulfate is bluish in color, iron sulfate is greenish in color. So here also we are getting two different substances. Now one more example. Take about a teaspoonful of vinegar in a test tube. Add a pinch of baking soda into it. You would hear a hissing sound and see bubbles of a gas coming out. Pass this gas through the freshly prepared lime water in the another test tube. What happens to the lime water? The change in the test tube is as follows. When vinegar reacts with baking soda, we get carbon dioxide and other substance. So this carbon dioxide is passed through the lime water. The calcium carbonate is formed, which makes this lime water milky. The turning of lime water into milky is a standard test of carbon dioxide. So in these above activities, we can see the new substances are formed. See here, the decanted lime water plus carbon dioxide, we get calcium carbonate. That is the new substance, which is completely different from the original substances. So all these changes, we come to know that one or more new substances are formed. So a change in which one or more new substances are formed is called a chemical change. A chemical change is also called chemical reaction. So chemical changes are very important in our lives. All new substances formed as a result of chemical changes. For example, the digestion of food in our body, ripening of fruits, fermentation of grapes. All these happen due to the series of chemical changes. A medicine is the end product of the chain of chemical reactions. Useful new materials such as plastics and detergents are produced by chemical reactions. Indeed, every new material is discovered by studying the chemical changes. So, we have seen that one or more new substances are produced in a chemical change. In addition to new products, the following changes also happening. So, the first one, heat, light, or any other radiation may be given off or absorbed. The sound may be produced. A change in smell may take place, or a new smell may be given off. A color change may take place. A gas may be formed. So you saw that the burning of magnesium ribbon is a chemical change. Burning of coal, wood or leaves is also a chemical change. In fact, burning of any substance is a chemical change. Burning is always accompanied by the production of heat. The explosion of firework is a chemical change. You know that such explosion produces heat, light, sound and unpleasant gases that pollute the atmosphere, that everybody experiences during any big festival time. That is why you are advised not to play with fireworks. When food gets spoiled, it produces a foul smell. Shall we call this change a chemical change? You must have noticed that a slice of an apple acquires brown color if it is not consumed immediately. If you have not seen this change in color, cut a fresh slice of apple and keep it away for some time. Repeat the same activity with the slice of potato or brinjal. All these pieces, when it is kept open for some time in the open, we can see it becomes brownish in color. So these are all due to the formation of the new substance. So the same thing is happening in rusting of iron also. So when it is kept open, so already we have discussed when a piece of iron is kept open in the atmosphere, it becomes rusted. This is one change that affects iron articles and slowly destroys them. Since iron is used in making bridges, ships, cars, trucks, bodies and many other articles, the monetary loss due to rusting is huge. So, the rusting can be represented by the equation iron when it reacts with the oxygen from the air and water, it changes into rust. The chemical name of rust is iron oxide. So how to prevent this rusting? The rusting means the process of acquiring brown substance when it is exposed to air and water. So how to prevent this rusting? So the first step is on applying paint or oil or grease. So when it is applied, iron does not come in direct contact with the air or moisture. So now second one, to deposit a thin layer of metal like zinc or chromium on iron. So this is called galvanization. So the first one, painting. You know that in everybody's house we every year or time and again we paint the grills to avoid the rusting. The second one, galvanization. Galvanization means to deposit a thin layer of metal like zinc or chromium on iron. The rusting of iron is prevented. Now the third one, to prevent the rusting of iron plates of ship, they are joined with big slabs of more reactive metal like zinc or magnesium and are replaced periodically. Now fourth one, we can say the making alloys means different metals are mixed together and then the new metal is formed. So that is called alloy. So stainless steel is made by mixing iron with carbon and metals like chromium, nickel and manganese. So it does not rust. So these are the ways we can prevent rusting. Now the last one is another method of making a pure substance, that is called crystallization. So the crystallization already you have studied in 6th standard. So in the 6th standard you have studied how salt is prepared by the method of evaporation. The salt obtained by evaporation means when it is in the salt pan, the salt is not pure and then they cannot be seen clearly also. However, large crystals of pure substances can be formed from their solutions. So the process is called crystallization. So what is meant by crystallization means making a pure substance from its solution. So in this, how the pure substance of copper is formed. Take a cup full of water in a beaker and add a few drops of dilute sulfuric acid. Heat the water. When it starts boiling, add copper sulfate powder slowly while stirring continuously. Continue adding copper sulfate powder till no more powder can be dissolved. Filter the solution. Allow it to cool. Do not disturb the solution when it is cooling. Look at the solution after some time. Can you see the crystals of copper sulfate? If not, wait for some time more. So, we have studied the physical change and the chemical change. The physical change, what are the difference between physical and chemical change? So the first one we can say the physical properties like shape, volume, color, state of the substance change. In chemical change, chemical properties of the substance change. The next in the physical this one, new substances are not formed. In the chemical change, new substances are formed. The third one, generally the physical changes are reversible and the chemical changes are irreversible. So these are the main changes takes place and it can be seen in our day-to-day life. So what is meant by galvanization, children? The process of depositing a layer of zinc or iron is called the galvanization. So what is meant by crystallization? The process to obtain the crystals of pure substances from its solution is called crystallization. So children, read the lesson and then you can fill your objectives in the